Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you. So we're going to do something a little bit different today, and I'm going to start a new series. And basically what it is, what I have here is a sheet with some questions on here that I've printed off that you guys are sending me on YouTube through emails. We're going to do basically a steroid and PED Q&A. So I'm going to do 1 to 2 of these per week on videos that I upload because I think that's going to be really more interesting to people. I mean, you know, we've got a ton of informative videos out there. Trust me, I'm going to still keep doing them because I know there's a ton of topics to cover. We all know that. But I think that it's really beneficial if we take questions that I get a lot of or things that I really feel would really help, that if I address them instead of just typing answers so that everybody can hear them, because there's no way that every one of you guys is going to go through every single comment or be on forums all day and see everything that gets discussed. So I'm trying to educate further with some more direct questions that, as opposed to just generalized information. I think that's going to help a lot. So there's no particular, I'm just grabbing random ones that I see more. There's no particular order here from newbie to advanced user. I'm just picking some of the best questions and we're going to go with them. So from the top, question number 1. I was considering running DECA and Tren. Is that something you recommend one way or another? So, and let me preface this. All these questions, they do revolve around age, height, weight, body fat, which I've discussed, your cycle experience, your history. Look, DECA and Tren together, can you do it? Yeah, of course you can. There's been plenty of people that do it successful. I am not personally the largest fan of this, just simply because it's definitely for more advanced users, okay, mixing those two. When you're running two 19 NOR compounds, there is a lot that can go wrong. You got to be more conservative with these, okay? And I've already preached conservative doses with Tren and DECA. I always tell you, don't go over 400 milligrams, of one. With this, you definitely want to be very, aware of the problems that you could have here. We got 219 NOR. So I'm saying I wouldn't really go over 250 milligrams each here. That's already putting you at 500 milligrams of 19 NORs. It's not for everybody. Okay, I've seen a lot of people have a lot of problems running these together. I've seen some people that stand by it and do extremely well. That's not for me to determine. That's for you to determine through trial and error. It's not the best idea in the world, but it most certainly can be done. So I don't want to say, oh no, it's terrible, because listen, I've seen it done well a million times. I've just seen a lot of people fail at it as well. So it's something that you've got to be aware of when you're making that decision. And I would proceed with caution. That's all I'm saying on that. So let's see, what do we have here for question number 2? What steroid or SARM do you recommend for an MMA fighter? I can't afford to gain any weight in the process and need to keep my endurance up, but also want to help with strength as well as aggression if possible. I know that's asking a lot. Yeah, it is asking a lot. But it can be done. Listen, the key here that I see here is that you don't want your weight to go up. All right? Most generally with steroids, you're using them to gain a little bit of size. Not everybody's looking to gain 500 pounds. I've told you that a million times. But, you're probably, in most circumstances, going to gain a couple pounds. Now, if you're running just Anavar, just halotestin, for example, which isn't going to add any size. And halotestin, I've said, is the perfect steroid for MMA fighters. It will add a ton of aggression, a ton of strength without any size. There's just here. It's not for a new user. I generally never recommend running orals without test. And if you run test, chances are you're going to gain some size or at least some water retention as possible with estrogen conversion. And Halo is, it can bring out sides of you that you maybe don't want to bring out that could make you more dangerous than you need to be. The other keys here, endurance. That's when I shift to SARMs, because you can run SARMs, something like GW 501-516 with S4, where you eat a certain diet. You're not going to gain size with that, or at least minimal. You're going to get extremely strong with S4. You're going to get a ton of endurance with GW, and you don't have to worry about steroid-like side effects. If you're looking at steroids for MMA, I'm always going to go to halotestin first. Okay, but it's not the best idea, as I've said, for somebody that's not experienced, and I don't like oral-only cycles, Winstrol may be another one, but you also got to be aware of testing and things like that. So any of these is a bad idea. But I would resort to SARMs over steroids. In this particular instance, it just seems like it makes a lot more sense for the goals and tasks at hand. All right, moving on. Do you think that tren is okay for me to run on a second cycle? I mean, no, I really don't. There's some people that angers, and that's fine. But if you're asking me my opinion and my thought, no, I really don't think it's okay to run on a second cycle. I think you should get a few cycles under your belt before you take one of the harshest compounds out there that can cause so many different problems from so many different angles. And I think you should wait and run some other cycles first. You ask my opinion, that's my opinion. If you don't agree or if you want to do whatever you want to do, of course, I'm not your dad. But I try to give the most comprehensive, safe, realistic, types of advice to people that will increase their longevity and their lifespan. I don't look at it like, I don't care about how long I live and I don't care about this or that, I just care about my body. If that's you, run tren all day long, every day of the year. But that's not how I operate and that's not what I advise. So no, I really don't believe that it's a good idea for a second cycle, in all honesty. I don't gain anything from that other than peace of mind, knowing that I'm helping you to keep your health in check and first and foremost. Question number 4. What do you think about Trestolone? Well, listen. Personal use. I'm not a fan of things that convert to estrogen at a high rate. Why? 1, because I'm very estrogen prone. So that would make sense to most. But 2, me personally, I freak out over the slightest amount of water retention. Look, I stay so lean year round that I know the most fraction of a fraction of a fraction of water retention. Do I think Trestolone has a ton of benefits? Absolutely. Do I think that for many people it's something that is extremely effective? Absolutely. Do I think it has a lot of side effects? No, I know it does. It's very strong. It's very suppressive. And the estrogen conversion converts at a higher rate than any other steroid I've ever seen. So my thoughts are on it that it's not for me. Doesn't mean it's not for you. My thoughts are that you should wait till you're a more advanced user. And I would, and I've done videos in the past talking about what you need to stack with it, which is basically nothing because it's extremely strong. It's a proceed with caution type of thing. But I definitely know there's a lot of benefit to it. It's just not for everybody, okay? Which no steroid is for everybody. But I don't want to come out and go, because I'm estrogen, sensitive, that it's not good for you. Because once again, I don't do things like that. You got to stay unbiased. Just because something's not for me doesn't mean I'm not going to tell you the truth about it. And all in all, there are a ton of benefits there. But it's another one of those proceed with extreme caution. There's things that have less side effects that you can get nice results from. So it really just depends on you. Listen, if you're very estrogen prone, just run away from it. Don't even mess with it because it's just going to cause you nothing but problems. You're going to have a hell of a time dialing in your AI dose and it's just going to be messy. But if you're not, maybe it fits your goals, maybe not. That's not for me to decide. That's for you to decide. But yeah, definitely something to consider. Like I said, though, just try to have a few more cycles under your belt before you get right into that. And lastly, how long can I run test prop? Well, you can run test prop just like you do any other forms of test. You can run it 12 weeks, 14 weeks, whatever. You have to ask yourself, can you handle, that amount of pinning? Can you deal with pinning every other day for 12, 14 weeks? It's not fun. All right. Some people actually love pinning. Some people despise it. I'm not a fan. So I would say keep it more to an 8 to 10 week run, but that's not the question. The question is how long can you, and you can run it as long as you want. It's really up to you to decide whether or not you want to deal with that amount of pinning for extended periods of time. So that being said, that's part 1 of the steroid and PED Q&A. I'm going to keep doing these. I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be very beneficial, and I think Actually, I know I've had a lot of requests for this, so I always try to do what everybody asks of me. That being said, www.icearms.com/forums. I'm also on the Elite Fitness Forum as well as the Evolutionary Forum. Dylan at icearms.com is where you can get me with all questions and comments. And please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.